If there's one carnival treat that feels like pure magic, it's cotton candy. That fluffy cloud of sugar, impossibly light and colorful, has been making kids' eyes light up for more than a century. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. Cotton candy wasn't invented by a candy maker or a pastry chef. It was actually created by a dentist. Yes, the very same profession dedicated to warning us about cavities and sugar consumption is the reason we have one of the sweetest inventions in history. So how exactly did this happen? Let's take a look at the fascinating story behind cotton candy, its surprising inventor, and how it became a carnival icon. Right here, on History of Simple Things. Before cotton candy as we know it came around, the concept of spun sugar already existed. As far back as the 18th and 19th centuries, European chefs and confectioners were experimenting with melted sugar, pulling and spinning it into delicate threads to decorate desserts. These sugary creations often looked like golden webs draped across cakes or desserts at royal banquets. While they were beautiful, they were also incredibly labor-intensive to make, requiring skill, patience, and a good amount of luck to keep the sugar from crystallizing or burning. In other words, it wasn't something the average person could just whip up at home, and it certainly wasn't the fluffy carnival treat we recognize today. The big breakthrough came in 1897, thanks to William J. Morrison, a dentist from Nashville, Tennessee, and his partner John C. Wharton, a candy maker. Morrison wasn't your average dentist. He was curious, inventive, and constantly tinkering with ideas beyond dentistry. Together with Wharton, he set out to find a way to mechanize the process of making spun sugar, making it easier, faster, and accessible to the masses. Their invention was a machine that melted sugar and used centrifugal force to push it through tiny holes, creating thin threads that cooled and solidified almost instantly. Those threads piled up into a fluffy, cloud-like mound, what we now call cotton candy. They patented their machine in 1899, and with that, an unlikely pair had changed the candy world forever. The world got its first taste of cotton candy at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri. Morrison and Wharton brought their new invention to the fairgrounds and started selling what they called fairy floss. The name itself captured the whimsical nature of the treat, almost like eating spun air, and the crowds loved it. At the fair, they sold boxes of fairy floss for 25 cents each. That may not sound like much today, but in 1904 it was the equivalent of about $7 in today's money, a premium price for a carnival snack. Despite the cost, people couldn't get enough. By the end of the fair, they had sold more than 68,000 boxes. Cotton candy had arrived, and it was a hit. The name fairy floss didn't stick everywhere, though. In Australia, it's still called that today, but in the United States, the term eventually shifted to cotton candy, because the spun sugar resembled the soft fibers of cotton plants. The new name caught on, and by the 1920s, cotton candy was firmly established as a staple of fairs, circuses, and amusement parks. The invention of newer machines also made production easier and more consistent. As technology improved, cotton candy became cheaper and more widely available, turning into the sweet, affordable treat that kids beg for every summer. Of course, the funniest part of the story is still the irony. A dentist was behind one of the most sugar-packed treats ever created. It's almost like a firefighter inventing fireworks. But William Morrison wasn't trying to ruin teeth. He was more interested in the innovation itself. And ironically, his invention brought joy to millions of children. and maybe a few extra patients to dental offices down the line. Over time, cotton candy spread far beyond American carnivals. In different countries, it goes by different names. In the UK, it's called candy floss. In France, it's barbe à papa, which translates hilariously to daddy's beard, and in other parts of the world, it's known as sugar clouds or dragon's beard. Despite the differences in name, the essence remains the same: fluffy sugar that melts the moment it touches your tongue. Today, cotton candy isn't limited to fairs and circuses anymore. You can find it in bags at supermarkets, used as decoration on cakes and drinks, or even transformed into gourmet versions with unusual flavors like matcha, lavender, or chili pepper. But even with all those modern twists, nothing really beats the feeling of watching it spin fresh at a carnival stand. What started as a quirky invention by a dentist and a candy maker has turned into a global phenomenon. Cotton candy is more than just sugar. It's nostalgia, a symbol of carefree childhood days and summer evenings at the fair. It's proof that sometimes the most unexpected collaborations can lead to something iconic. So next time you see that pink or blue fluff spinning on a stick, remember the strange but delightful history behind it. From the kitchens of European chefs, to the curiosity of an inventive dentist, to the world stage at the 1904 World's Fair, cotton candy has traveled quite the journey. And maybe, just maybe, you'll laugh at the irony that one of the sweetest carnival treats ever was brought to us by someone who spent his career fighting tooth decay. So what do you think? Was William Morrison a genius inventor who gave the world a little more joy? Or a clever dentist secretly drumming up future business? Either way, cotton candy remains one of the most magical treats out there, and its story is just as sweet as its taste. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.